March 19. 720 B.C. The first eclipse of the moon on record by Ptolemy happened on this day. 478 B.C. The history of Herodotus terminates with the siege of Sestus. 235. Alexander Severus, Emperor of Rome, murdered by his soldiers. He was a Phoenician by birth, led an exemplary life, and governed ably both in peace and war. 717. Chilperic, King of France, surprised in his camp, in the forest of Ardennes, by the Duke of Austrasia, afterwards Charles Martel. 1355. Pressing for seamen to man the English navy, commenced in the reign of Edward III. 1521. Insurrection and massacre in the island of Majorca, in the Mediterranean Sea. 1584. Ivan IV Vasilevich, first Tsar of Muscovy, died. He was denominated by the Russians the Terrible, and by foreigners the Tyrant. 1621. The complaint against Lord Bacon for corruption, drawn up by Sir Edward Coke and others, presented to the House of Lords. The Chancellor was sick, but addressed a letter to his peers, requesting them not to prejudge his case from any number of petitions against a judge that makes 2,000 decrees and orders in a year, but that he may answer them according to the rules of justice, severally and respectively. 1626. Peter Coton, a French Jesuit, died. He was confessor to Henry IV, whose confidence he possessed, and it was a common expression that the king was good, but that he had cotton in his ears. He was distinguished for eloquence and zeal. 1628. Patent for Massachusetts sold to Sir Henry Roswell, Sir John Young and 4 other associates in the vicinity of Dorchester, England. 1631. The original patent of Connecticut made by Robert, Earl of Warwick, to William, Viscount Say and Seal, Robert Lord Brooke and their associates. 1643. Battle of Hopton Heath, between the forces of Charles I, and those of the Parliament, in which the latter were defeated with the loss of a great part of their artillery. 1643. Spencer Compton, the friend of Charles I, killed at the Battle of Hopton Heath. To accept quarter, was dispatched by the Parliament forces. 1687. Daniel Gookin died, for many years superintendent of the Indians in Massachusetts, whose interests he watched with so much zeal as to draw upon himself the abuse of the populace, whose outrages he constantly opposed. He published some historical collections of the Indians in New England. 1688. John Denham, one of the minor British poets, died. He was born at Dublin, in 1615, and first became known in 1641 by his tragedy of the Sophie. In 1643 appeared his first edition of Cooper's Hill, a justly celebrated poem, of which Dryden says, "For majesty of style is, and ever will be, the standard of good writing." 1691. Call. Henry's daughter published his commission from the Duke of York, appointing him governor of the province of New York. 1711. Thomas Ken, chaplain to Charles II of England, died. He survived several reigns, and in all, his firmness and consistency, added to his piety and learning, procured him respect and patronage. 1719. An extraordinary meteor seen from all parts of Great Britain about 8 o'clock in the evening. Its light exceeded that of the sun at noonday. It exploded over the sea near the coast of Brittany, at an altitude it is supposed of about 30 miles. It broke like a skyrocket into sparks of red fire, and was succeeded by a tremendous report. 1736. Nicholas Hawksmoor died, an English architect of fame, pupil of Sir C. Wren. 1755. A cluster of houses in the village of Bergamoletto, near Piedmont, Italy, was overwhelmed by two vast bodies of snow that fell from the neighboring mountain. 3 women, the only occupants of the houses at the time of the catastrophe, were dug out alive 7 days after. 1759. Nicolas Verdier, a French anatomist, died. His character as an author and a man are entitled to respect. 1781. Cornwallis retreated from Guilford Courthouse, where he had defeated Greene on the 15th, leaving at the Quaker Meeting House all the wounded Americans he had taken, and about 70 wounded British officers. 1786. Hugh Palliser, an English admiral, died. He was at the storming of Quebec, and at the Battle of Ushant, 1778, on which occasion a dispute between him and Admiral Keppel saved the French fleet from destruction. 1788. Francis Joseph Desbillons, a French Jesuit, died. He devoted many years to study, and at the abolition of his order published his Fables, and some other works, and left in manuscript a history of the Latin tongue. 1796. Stephen Storace, an English music composer, died. His productions are confined to the drama, and are remarkable for their spirit. 1797. Gradisca, a strong town in Austria, capitulated to the French under Bernadotte and Serrurier. 3,000 prisoners, 60 cannon and 8 standards fell into the hands of the French. 1801. Novalis, the literary name assumed by Frederick von Hardenberg, died. He belonged to the religious society of Herrnhuters. 1808. Charles IV abdicated the throne of Spain in favor of his son Ferdinand VII. 1809. Gustavus Adolphus IV, the deposed king of Sweden, signed a formal deed of abdication. He assumed the title of Count Gottorp. 1812. Constitution of the Cortes signed and proclaimed in Spain. 1814. Simon Snyder, governor of Pennsylvania, rejected the bill establishing 40 banks. It however became a law, 2/3 of the legislature having agreed to it. 1814. Reims, in France, taken by the Russians. 1842. First newspaper at Flushing, Long Island. 1853. Nanking taken by the rebels. The Tartar garrison of 20,000 men massacred, except 100, who effected an escape. 1853. Battle of Donabu, Burma. The British under Gentchaip defeated Mattoon. 1855. An explosion took place in the Midlothian coal pits in Virginia. Of 50 persons in the pits, 35 were killed and 10 wounded beyond recovery.